Welcome back to Open Lab. We have with us Vice Mayor Jim Shulman. Thank you for coming on.
Sure. Let's
go back to the tons of stuff to talk about, Metro Council stuff. Let's go to Tony. Hello, Tony.
Hey, how you doing? Thank you for taking the call.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
What I wanted to ask Mr. Councilman, he was on the morning show a while back, and he gave me his phone number, calling about a police issue, and why they didn't investigate the crime, the robbery I did. And I got a whole lot of flack from the police department. I'm the taxpayer. I'm paying them. They ain't paying me. And they refused to explain why they didn't do it. And it was more or less internal investigation, which turned out to cover their own self, cover their own officers and detectives that didn't do the job. And I want to know, I really believe the fire department, especially the fire department, they deserve is raised. They're going to be on the spot when we have this football draft thing coming here, as police is. They need every dime they can get, because those people have helped me doing robberies, car wrecks, everything. They've been right there. And so they deserve every dime they get. So, and then you take a big company like Amazon and come in here and don't win what Mr. Fuzz, Pastor Fuzz and all of them concerned. It's called gentrification, have left their churches empty. That's the only reason why they're on TV talking all this garbage, because they've lost a lot of people, members in their churches. But I really believe that the police department, forever young, not all of them are bad, but the fire department really, and the Metro employees really needed that money.
All right, let's talk about that. Thank you, Tony. All right, so there's a lot there.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in the fire department. I've done some stories on the fire department. Major concern about funding for staff and equipment. So I'll take that from that call. He also had some concerns with the police department. I'll let you address, I guess, both those things. What do you think?
Start with the police department first.
Sure.
And I think I remember Tony talking about this. So part of the purpose of the Community Oversight Board is to deal with questions like that. So I think Tony had a concern about how he was treated, or something that happened and he didn't feel like he got proper response. Well, or there was something, I don't know, he was talking about a cover-up of some sort. That's the purpose of the Community Oversight Board. That's why you have this type of thing. Fire department. Again, like I said before, you know, we've always been very supportive of the police department, supportive of the fire department. I think what Tony's saying is that fire department works really, really hard and deserves those raises. That goes back to what I was just talking about. It's on our minds. I mean, we really would like to do that. We think that's important. It's expensive to live in Nashville. We want, you know, sometimes you talk about affordable housing and people yell at me and say, don't talk about affordable housing, talk about raising people's wages so they can afford to live here. Understand that. That's why this is so important. And I mean, you've driven around downtown on a Saturday night. We got 18 million things going on. The police and, you know, the special personnel and the fire department, everybody's involved in trying to make sure the city is safe and protected. And they work really, really long hours, and they're very important to the public safety of this. And again, Tony's got a point.
Reverend Fuzz, we had to go to break as you were kind of getting into that question he had, his second part of his question about incentives. He's questioning, and you said you tried to kind of come up with some formula. Was this a successful incentive or not? And there's not a great one that you've been able to identify, that anyone's been able to identify. Do you think there have been some in the recent past that have just been too generous, that just kind of give you heartburn when you look back on them? Or what about that? Yeah.
I mean, so you know, I got back on the council, so I've been on the council for, this is my 4th year back, and now as the vice mayor. I mean, as much as I know people like the Opryland Water Park, and I know I've heard really nice things about it, I didn't vote for that because I just can't. You know, that was not for citizens, and it was one of those things where I think there was money that was being given out to draw tourists in and to help. Some of those things happened before I was on the council. But I worry about those types of things. And again, I mean, obviously we like having the Opryland Hotel here, but I think you have to look at those types of incentives and go, how do they benefit the city as a whole? And that one particularly bothered me. And I know council members get, you know, they have different ones that bother them. I think the problem is these incentives, if we do them, you know, it may take a while before we actually start paying off the incentives. By that time, the council, you know, the members that voted on it are not on the council anymore, or probably not, and you know, you have a different mayor, and then the deal is done. And I think part of it should be you go back and go, did it work?
Right.
Because then if you can get some ideas of, did it increase the property tax, and did it provide the jobs that we thought, and so forth, you take that information, you go back to the council and go, this one worked, and these were some of the reasons why. But if they don't work, you also want the council to know that too. So when these things come up, you have a better idea of whether they're going to work or not.
All right, we're going to take a break, come back, continue discussion. Be back right after this.